Hello everyone. So I'm just checking if we are live everywhere. Yeah, we are also live on Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Okay. So hello everyone. We are back with third webinar of our like it was like last month we had like first webinar. We are already at third. So let's keep doing more. So how is everyone? Mike, Sergio, how is everything going?
Going well.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like we have like a lot of things to like have a discussion about also. So also users, you might have joined us in the first webinar till now. So what are the features you have noticed and what you have tried till now? We will definitely love to know. So please add that in chat box and anywhere you are watching this video, so that can help us to understand like how we have grown from the first webinar to now. Other than that, I would like to introduce Sergio and Mike. So Sergio is working as the head of engineering in Motia. Mike is our founder and CEO. So and I'm head of developer relations. So yeah, and another another person just answered like I am here unofficial team of Motia. So thank you. So I
Nice.
definitely would love to see your GitHub issues and private PR request. So yeah, uh, funny things are ahead. And so another than that, I would like to start with like Sergio. So let's start with what are the recent things we launched and what are the recent major update we had in the Motia in recent release.
Cool. Great question. So one thing that we really wanted to do is empower the community to be able to contribute without us being a bottleneck. Because like we've seen lots of pull requests there, and we didn't have enough time to review all of them. Because like we need to make sure for every new version that we have, it's completely smooth, right? We don't introduce new bugs and bugs to new releases, right? So that's why we need to do like really be careful on those contributions. But at the same time, we don't want to slow down everyone, right? So one thing that we really wanted to do is allow the community to create their own plugins for the workbench. And the plugins is like pretty much everything that we have right now in a workbench. We move them to be a plugin, right? So like if we were able to create all of those features in a plugin system, you the community can also create other fun plugins to like lots of stuff for the backend development side and also for front end development side, like to help on testing the backend, right? So sometimes we need a front end to do it, right? So that's basically like the plugin system. The other thing is like we released the Docker a few months ago, but we knew that it wasn't fully production ready. It was mostly like a preview for the early adopters, right? Right now we are in beta for the whole framework, but we want to at some point to become like a stable version, and we believe we are getting really close. So the Docker were limited, right? It was limited to just one instance. Everything was being stored on files. The streams and the states, they were all being stored in files, which is not the ideal scenario, right? We wanted to allow the developers to have their own connectors to their third-party services, right? So for states and streams, ideally they should put in Redis, right? And Redis they configure somewhere either in Docker or maybe they can use a third-party service that provides that out of the box. And for that, we created the adapters. And with the adapters, the developers, when they are like, okay, I'm using locally or I am deploying to a production environment, so I can connect my own adapters to connect the state streams to a Redis instance. And the queue system right now, it wasn't fully production ready because like it was always under one single instance. But with the adapters, they can connect the queue system to the event system to a Bull MQ or to a Rabbit MQ adapter. So that's really good because like the community, the developers, they can fully deploy confidently the Mocha framework backend in a production ready environment.
Yeah, so what I understood is like we can now self-host self-host fully with having
Yeah.
like docker file, where docker file we have like Motia as a image, and then anyone can go and add like different adapters as a different Like they just have to use like redis adapter like boolean q, redis mq, or whatever they want to add, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
so that's so convenient now. Another thing which I would like to mention is like now we don't have to write steps as a file inside the steps folder, right? You can just write it anywhere. Yeah, so that was one
Yeah.
of the feature requests from a lot of people.
Yeah, lots of stability fixes as well. One of them was a big request from the community, right, to move away from Zod because there were like projects that were using Zod 4 and other projects that were using Zod 3. So we don't want to be in the middle of like complicating the project's migration, right? So right now we are moving away from Zod and using just JSON schema for everything that is related to schema and types generation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also we just launched like express's feature parity, right? So now we support everything which you can do with express. So yeah, very cool. So
And
what are we?
we just got a PR submitted for role-based access control for streams. I mean, that was like probably one of the
Mm,
most requested things
yeah,
to allow, for productionizing the framework. So hopefully, maybe maybe Sergio will live review that PR and merge it. We'll see.
yeah, we can also do that. But yeah, like Sergio, what are we building today? We had I think we had like a to do example at the start where we added streams and everything.
Yeah,
So are we going to add like background jobs or something else to continue the same example? So
yeah,
do you have a plan for that?
yeah. I also want to have plans to unify the the workflow in one single place. Because right now we need to open two tabs, right? One for
Mm.
the app side and one for the workbench. But why not create a plugin for that, right? So that's what
Mm,
I'm gonna do here.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's start with today's demo, like live code walkthrough. That's what people like most. So yeah, other than our yapping.
Awesome. Yeah, let me share my screen. Cool. So I have my project set up. It's basically the same project that we shared in the first webinar, but I structured just a little bit to make sure that it works well and it's smooth, right? And this project right now it's in the examples project, the examples repo that we have in GitHub. At the end of this call, this webinar, I'm gonna push the changes that I made to there so you guys can try it yourselves. So if I move to the view, right, we can see these three steps: the create to do, the delete to do, and the update to do. We can see all of the endpoints here, right? We have a put, a delete, and a post, and we have these streams defined already. When we open the app, we can see the same thing that I left, right? All of the to do that we need to do, and we can interact, and it's all real time. I'm gonna just open in different windows so we can see it's real time, right? So I click here, and we can see immediately
Yeah, yeah,
real time.
yeah,
Same here. I'm gonna click in these. We can see there. I delete. Everything is working fine, right? But we need to open the workbench. We need to open the app that I created, and sometimes we need to go back and forth, right? Because maybe I need to check the logs here, right? So I interact with it, say that I check, and I need to see the logs to make sure everything is working fine, right? But ideally, it should be all in under the same page. So one thing that I did was if I go to the app, says we have the app here. So one thing that I did was I separated out the component for the to-do app in a separate component. And in here, we have all of the logic that we can see in the web app that I just showed, right? So with this, it's much easier for us to put this component inside the workbench. So in the workbench, in the API side, I'm sorry, we have now a config.ts file that has all of the plugins. And I went ahead and created this plugin, but I haven't plugged it yet, right? So I'm gonna walk you guys through on how we can define our own plugin, right? So in this case, we're using a PNPM monorepo, right? We have the API. The API has a dependency to the to-do app, and let me show these two package JSONs. This one I define as a to-do app, right? And in the API side, I define as a dependency. I did the PNPM install to link everything all together. And then at the config file, I just say like component name to do app, and then package name. I put the same package name that I just showed. We can define the label. Where is it positioned? Is it's either in the top panel or the bottom panel. And yeah, we can change the label icon to have a really good looking icon to help when we see in the workbench, and the CSS imports, right? So if I put that inside and restart my Motion service, then I go to the Motion workbench. Now I see a new tab here, right? So we have this one, which we already know, right? We have the endpoints that I just showed you guys. And now we have the to-do app. We should mimic exactly the same behavior of this. So if I show here, we can see exactly this. In this case, the way that I wrapped the app side, this one takes care of centering it, the content, right? But the to-do app component doesn't do it. So that's why we see in this place. But it's easy because like we can, okay, now I can interact with this way, or maybe I can just center it, right? It's fine. It's up to us to implement it. And yeah, it works the same way. So let me show it. Like I'm gonna move this to the side, and I have it in a workbench, and I have it in the app itself. They all work the same way, right? So that's a good thing because we can put our front end logic inside the workbench, and we can start working with the workbench same way that we do if we would be just spinning up the service. But instead, we have only one port that manages everything, right? It's all React.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And the
really
also
cool. It's
good,
almost like a storybook for the back end or something like that, right? Like you're kind
mm,
of pulling out individualized components and being able to work on the functionality of just that thing without worrying about the surrounding application.
exactly. And yeah, as I mentioned, like we can just close this other tab, and I can actually stop this process, the vid process, right? I'm gonna kill it, and I'm gonna move back. Still works, right? Same way, nothing related to that process. But the good thing is now I can visualize everything that's going on because it's all under the same environment, right? It's all under the same page. Can clear it and can open it, and we see the traces happening. So it's pretty cool to see it, right? The other things that we could potentially do is maybe we can have like some stuff where when we click, it opens up this drawer. It all works with the plugin system because we are inheriting the same components that we used to build all of the workbench components, right? In the Motion Dev UI. And yeah, I invite you guys to take a look at it because like let me show the list of all of the components. We're gonna make it more official to be easier to navigate, but all of those components, they are listed here, right? So we have the breadcrumb, we have the buttons, we have checkboxes, collapsible panel like this one. Everything that we see in the workbench, we created a component in our design system to accommodate to that, right? Drop down menu and inputs. Yeah, pretty much like everything we have is there. Only the ones that are really specific, right? So we have some for the editor. So we didn't want to create a component for that. So we're just using a third party editor for that, and syntax highlighter and all of those stuff that we sometimes see, especially like when we click on this one, right? So we see these syntax highlighters. We are not exposing inside our library, right? It's because a third party NPM package. Yeah. One comment from Mike is we created this repository, the awesome plugins, and we would really appreciate you guys whenever you guys have good ideas to create a plugin, publish to npm, and submit it to a pull request to this repo, and we're more than happy to accept these contributions, right? Because we want to see the creativity of everyone.
Yeah. So Sergio, can you also show like how actually like basic kind of a plugin can be written by anyone? Like this was a UI one, right? So if they want to
Mm.
write anything as a plugin, so what should be the main file they need to edit, and how they can configure it in our Motion?
Yeah, great question. So when we create a plugin, it's mostly a function that will be called inside the Mocha. And when we call the Mocha, we give this plugin context in here. And then with these contacts, we can register API. We can actually register some steps that are specific to the plugin, right? So inside here, we have the workbench memory return, but we can put the dear name and then the steps, and we put all of these steps there inside, like this, for example. I'm not gonna
Mm,
put it here because it's gonna try to use the same steps that we are defining as a project.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, we can create some plugins that are not only for the workbench, but maybe they are workbench and API in the backend as well, right? Or maybe it's just a backend, right? Maybe it's something that we want to just like keep watching whenever something changes. So one thing that we are exposing is the logged data, and we can subscribe to some on step, and then we have the event step created, and that's it, right? So we log whenever a new step is created, and maybe we can check whenever a new step is created, updated, or deleted, and we can put some logic there. Happens to stream as well. So yeah, there's lots of things that we could do with the plugin system.
yeah. So someone also asked like, how about a plugin for Drizzle and Prisma? Is it
Yeah, I mean
possible?
Yeah, like
it's a good thing to bring up. Sergio and I chatted about this morning actually, but because we have the adapter layer and now we have plugins, like we could easily, anyone could really easily write an adapter that was for like, well, we'd write a core module that was for database. So like you could do SQLite, and then you can write an adapter for each different database. So that'd be like, Postgres and MySQL. And then you can really use any database. And then so once the adapter layer is there, then you would be able to use, for instance, like, inside of context in any step, you would have DB, and then you would have, db.query, for example, and you could query the database and do whatever you wanted, and all the steps would have access to it. And then, once you have that, then you could easily write a plugin that could be for, Drizzle or Prisma, or any ORM layer that you wanted to add to that, to get then you'd be able to visualize all of the queries that are going into in and out of the database, and things of that nature.
yeah,
Yeah,
like other ideas of plugins is like for database, not exactly related to RMs, but for the database connection. Maybe we can create a plugin that will have all of the database interaction, right? We can see all of the tables. We can click on the tables to see all of the records in each table, right? So we have lots of tools for that, but why not having everything under the same environment, right? Under the workbench.
yeah, exactly. So to make everyone summarize everything about plugin, so they need to edit like simple like React files like index.tsx and all in TypeScript, and then they just have to go in Mocha config to configure their plugin whatever they have defined. So same thing as like whatever now in the workbench. If you can, so one of the fun thing is like you can also edit the workbench now, because you will see like there is a plugins as a plugin endpoint, plugin logs, plugin observability. So these are also configurable now. So you can go
Yep.
play with it and you can actually configure it. So that's why whenever means like if you do today npx mocha at latest create, you will see it first configures plugins and then your workbench gets set up. So it scaffolds app, then this configures everything, and then your workbench is available. So very fun. Like I also creating like a lot of examples daily. Today I tried like one of the query from our user on Discord. Like they want to add Stripe payments and this kind of a payment structure from anyone available, and they wanted to do it like simple way, like they can do with the clerk and any kind of a platforms available there. So with Motia, you can definitely code it. We knew already, but with this plugin system, it is very simple. Like you can just connect your UI in this plugin, and then you can from the plugin, if you test and all, you can divert that to the checkout page, just referring, and that code is also written in the plugin, because at the end endpoint is configurable from the plugin. Like it goes to next checkout page, and then it again comes to the Motia workbench, and this is entirely React code. So very fun. You can literally explore like a lot of things with this plugin. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to mention.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
So
one thing that I really like about like the plugin system is because we don't need to build anything separate from Mocha. Everything lives in one single place.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't need to go and use any another uh, very trending or like very discussed framework available there on the UI. So
Yeah,
yeah, very nice. So other thing which I think Italo is also here, so he can also help us with the mentioning, right? So he has done like a lot of work on the adapter side. So Italo, would you like to talk about adapters you means we have recently added in Motia, and how they actually benefit users to add in the Docker or add it anywhere, and how easy it is now, and how it will help us with the performance upgrading and all. So yeah.
Hey guys. So regarding the adapter, similar to the plugins, the purpose of that is transfer the power from Mocha to the user's hands. So adapter is a way that we provide you have your application in production without some problems I believe many of you faced on the first versions of Motion because everything was stored in memory or in files. And right now it's possible to you move that to another application such as Redis or whatever you want. So far we are providing official adapters from string to Redis, state Redis, and the the cron the cron log also for Redis, and also the events for RedTMQ. So the way that we you have to put your application in production and use the tool that you like more is using adapter. It's pretty easy to implement, and you can do your own adapter or use one provided by us.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So another thing which I wanted to ask about is like, so we also have like many people now have like many people are using Motia, right? So if they want to upgrade whatever they have currently in their workspace with this new plugin and adapters, do they need to consider anything, or like it will be a simple plug and play and they can just change their memory to like file based to memory and all? So how that will look like?
yeah. So let me show it in action. So right now, I'm adding the Redis adapter for
Yeah.
state,
Yeah.
and then we have these. I just installed it, the Redis state, and then we grab it and we just do a new state, and then we pass the host and the port. The host I'm gonna put local host, and that's it. All I need to do is npm dev now, and it's working. I do have Redis in my machine, so that's why it's working well. So
Cool.
yeah, it's
Cool.
really easy, right? So like if you want to disconnect from Redis and just use the default one, which is file, then it's fine. That's it. It's now in file. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you also just Ethelo is currently working on using a binary version of Redis, so you won't actually have to, there'll be
Yes.
no dependency install by default. And then, that will work really well to a certain degree, and then you'll likely in production at some point want to move to an actual Redis instance.
Yeah, that's right. So one thing that, yeah, like the shout out to Italo on finding that, because one of the reasons that we didn't have Redis by default on Mocha is because we wanted to minimize as much as possible the friction to get to start working on your own stuff, right? So we didn't want to require the developers to have Redis there or maybe having Docker in their own machine, right? But we've defined that Italy is going to push in maybe this week or maybe next week is they will we just download the Redis source code and we compile it into a binary and we call the binary from inside the motion. So like it's for the developers, they won't even notice that you're using Redis.
Yeah, that will be like very easiest and simplest way to put it. Yeah, very
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah. Also, when you release that, we also will use some adapters by default. But
Yep.
everything that we are creating, you are showing here, you guys can override and write as you want.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we discussed all of the like recent releases we did, and what are the update. Means like there are a lot of things to cover, but definitely we can't cover everything. But this was like top of the things which we wanted to put into webinar. And so we discussed plugins, we discussed adapters, and one of the thing which we are doing is like we are doing like daily examples, real world examples, and we are sharing on the LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. So definitely if you have not tried it, Moshia, and if you want to try it, you can definitely go. I will share the Moshia examples repo in a chat box. You can go to their repo, pull it any of the examples, try it. You just have to configure the API keys and all, see how it works and all. So that's simple it is. And once you start it, you will see like it is the simplest code you have ever written. And believe me, I'm just not claiming it because I work here. Okay. Yeah, so other than that, one of the thing I wanted to ask is I forgot. Yeah, so we had one of this priority previously, right? And we still have, and we will always have, like if anyone wants to contribute to Moshia, how we are planning to have like very good first issues, and do we have any things, any current workbench enhancements and all, which workbench or UI or anywhere where any one of the webinar attendees can come up and submit the issues and PRs to take over the issues and contribute into PRs as a new features and whatever they want to contribute. So one of the thing is plugin. So awesome
Yep.
plugins. I have already added the link that anyone can go and do it. Another UI thing which we recently had conversation, Sergio and I. So Sergio, can you share it with everyone, like if they want to contribute as a front end and UI, how they can do it?
You mean in the framework, right? Changing the
Yeah,
stuff
front end.
in. So you wanted me to drive to go to the backend,
No, no,
the
no,
front end.
not as a, no, not as a not as a code or something. I was just asking you like if anyone wants to come and contribute to the Moshia's front end, like how they can do it as a first issues, like where they can start with uh, as a first
Yeah.
contributor.
One thing that they need to do is like let me show the project. But yeah, this one. This is the Mocha project, right? And in plugins, they should see all of the plugins that we show, right? So let me go to the workbench. Just restart it. So yeah, like the endpoints, tracing, states, logs, they are all here. So yeah, in states, for example, we can see all of the codes are inside. And we have hooks, we have stores, we have some types, right? And we have the index which we expose some of this stuff, including the CSS file, right? And yeah, like basically, if you guys want to fix anything or change anything in one of these stuff, it's much easier right now, right? Because they all belong into separate folders, which makes more sense, right? So if I want to touch tracing, they live inside the observability plugin. If I want to change something in logs, we just need to go to the logs plugin.
Yeah, and we also have a storybook. Rohit, I think, is it linked from our docs? If it's not, it should be, but we should show the storybook. So these are all the
Yeah,
components that you can use inside of your plugins. I mean, you can make your own components, but we have a pretty good library of components.
yeah, and it's good because it keeps consistent across the whole workbench.
Oh, I was talking on mute. So someone asked like the search CLI is also coming using that you can pull from your terminal only
Well,
means.
it's this is a feature I requested. So right now, when you do the CLI Mocha at latest create, it will give you options like you can take the tutorials, like the TypeScript or Python tutorial, or you can start with a starter. So there's like the JavaScript, TypeScript, and Python starter. Although you can use all the languages in the same flow, so it's uh, that's not a restriction. It's just kind of where you want to start your project off with. Um, but in the future, we want to have people have a library of things to start with. Like, this is a LLM based workflow, and you can just have a LLM starter workflow where it's, you have an API endpoint and, a router and like a router for the LLM, and then, jobs that are kind of taking it and talking to either, OpenAI or Gemini or whatever you want, so that you can kind of have a faster start, right? You can just do the CLI command, you can pick the kind of workflow you're kind of working on and then pull that into your project and speed up development.
Yeah. And the same guy also asked like what was the role based access authorization
Yeah,
plugin. So
I
PR
can
we
take that.
discussed at the start. Yeah.
Yeah, the PR is not actually for a plugin, it's for the feature streams because right now everything is public, right? So one thing that we want to do is allow developers to gate some groups and even items to an authorization token. And we'll allow, I mean, for example, in this to-do app that I was showing, we can have like a user system, a user login where they can log in and they can manage their own to-do list. And we don't want other users to see users from someone else list, right? So we can gate that. We can do the work-based access control on those lists. So only the user who actually owned that list will be able to see.
Yeah. And this was like one of the most demanded feature on our Discord server. So and it was asked like last 2 weeks, I guess. Team prioritize it and it is available now as a PR. So definitely Sergio and team is going to review it, and definitely you will see it available in next release. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes sense. I mean, the more and more streaming is becoming a requirement versus a feature that a nice to have feature. It's really a requirement of these UIs at this point. So, we're seeing a lot of usage in streaming, and obviously the next step is like, okay, now we're using it and we want to turn this into productionized system that has the proper authorization and access.
Yeah. Yeah. So also I also shared like Moshe examples repo to anyone who wants to go and try it out our examples. So another thing I wanted to ask about is like now next things we have already talked about what is available and all. So what are the next exciting planned thing is available in our roadmap for users to know and yeah be aware.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're really focusing on productionizing. So that's kind of the most of the team is focused on productionizing, which is role-based access control. It's, finalizing the adapters, moving to a, by default Redis binary, and including bull and queue into this adapter, like the default adapter stack, so that when you do npx Mocha at latest create and you start with a starter, you could actually take that and just scales up really well. Like you can scale that to like a pretty decent, just out of the box, that will scale to like a production application, and then eventually you run into limits and you'll have to switch adapters, right? But there's a easy way to do that. and then you would continue. The goal of the framework is to be able to continue to easily jump to the next, whether it's an adapter or you're changing plugins or whatever you're changing. It's going to have a pretty clear roadmap to allow you to scale at each step that you take.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And any most of the things we have discussed already. So yeah, also one of the thing I would like to show means it is still in means like still mobile responsiveness is going on, but I can definitely show you, like if you are not seen yet, we have our new website ready, and definitely I would recommend everyone to go and check it out. It actually actually better explains like what is Motia, and like everything about Motia. Like you will see here, we have spent like a lot of our time to make this really nice website, and also this also goes to the designer and the team who is working on the website. So now you can see everything there, and it explains like how to write the steps, and it makes it very simple to understand. And so yeah, definitely go through the website, and if you still see there are some gaps in the website, like any small thing you see, like it should not be written like this, or it can be put like this to, and so it can be better explainable to us and all. So that will help us a lot. So we have, you can see like it is really nice animation and all. So team has done like really nice job here. So try it out, and this shows entire workbench and everything what Moshe can do. Moshe can literally do everything. So yeah, thank you. I will just share this link with everyone. So yeah, that's all I had for this today's meeting, the webinar. So definitely, if anyone has a question in chat box, we can take it over. Otherwise, we can just round it off. There is one question. Template related to AI from exam. So there are like around, I would say like 14, 15 AI related examples available in Mosha's examples channel, or that can be more. I can't code it, but I will also I'm also trying to arrange it, group it together, so you know how many examples are AI related, how many it is focused on authorization, how many means like more based on the categories, so you can better understand like which example is going, which folder is dedicated to what. I just want to make it work, so we also keep it on the docs and everywhere, so we don't have links broken and all. But yeah, completely makes sense for this question. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining this call, and we will keep doing more. So thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yeah, bye bye.
See you guys. Bye.